was a glory from the gods, but now I have grown tired of the unending bloodshed. For this reason, I have left the sword for the trees, and so sunlight, rain, and fruit grace the soil of all living things. Behold, nature's bloom. A storm is brewing. Pay heed to the earth's wisdom. I will bring life to this desolate land.
What's up, everyone? I did not expect IGG to release another hero so soon after King Arthur. This time, it has released a more offensive SSR Verdian support hero than Lao Shen after her release back in November. For those of you who have been keeping count, you would have likely guessed that the newest hero was going to be a support hero in either the Luminarch or Verdian faction, so now the next SSR hero should be in the Luminarch faction. Freyr takes skill concepts from existing heroes and has a unique skill of his own. Let's go over them. Starting with his ultimate Immortal Strength, this is a unique skill because it converts damage into healing for 5 seconds with the rejuvenation status. This skill will be useful for giving that near-death hero a second chance. For his regular skills, he has 2 active skills and 1 passive one. His first skill, Symbiosis, says that it's both an active and passive skill on the website, but the in-game description labels it as an active skill. This is an initial active skill, not a regular active one. That means that Freyr only uses it at the start of the battle. The skill links a chosen frontline hero and their opposing enemy hero, which result in the enemy hero either dying or being damaged for 50% of their current HP after the ally hero's death, or passing on the link up to 2 times if the marked enemy hero dies. I mentioned Freyr's skill borrow concepts from other heroes, and this skill reminds me of Odin's Fated Choice and Raven Guardian skills. It supports a frontline hero, and it places a lasting debuff on an enemy hero that can be passed on when the enemy hero dies. In Odin's case, it requires his iconic weapon 600 to pass it on, but Freyr gets to pass it 2 times for free. His second active skill is Goldmane Boar. It's his damage skill that also heals him for 15% of his max HP. There was a nerf before his release. It used to damage up to 28% of his max HP, and now it has decreased to 21%. His one passive skill is Rays of Gold. It's great for magical damage heroes and Freyja, since it increases their damage, health bestowal, and accuracy. For his equipment, Freyr is best suited with Yasakani Magatama and Air Runes. This is so he can have a quick cooldown for Goldmane Boar, which will help him stay alive as it keeps healing him. If you put Freyr in the front line to guarantee that the other frontline hero, like Faust, and his opposing enemy hero receive Symbiosis, I would also suggest switching to Aegis Shield and Earth Runes. For this team setup, you'll need a dedicated healer to help him stay alive. His Divinity skill set doesn't have many good options. For 2 nodes, the best skills to use are Aurora and Sprout. At 3 nodes, remove one of the skills and add Abyss if your Devoid tree is leveled past the first node limit, otherwise add Phantom. At 4 nodes, you can keep Aurora and Sprout while also adding Abyss. At 5 nodes, give him Abyss and New Moon. If you leveled past the second node limits, use Abyss and Panacea. Panacea is the most useful skill for Freyr Since his ultimate Immortal Strength and active skill Gold-Maned Boar damage enemy heroes based on his max HP. New Moon is somewhat useful if he is repeating Gold-Maned Boar quickly. At 6 nodes, you can use 2 different setups, New Moon and Panacea, or Aurora, Abyss, and Panacea. At 7 nodes, again, you have 2 options, Aurora, New Moon, and Panacea, or Abyss, Divine Fire, and Panacea. Moving on to his iconic weapon. His overall attribute point distribution gives him above average HP and defense points maxing at 138 and below average attack points at 90, as expected of a support hero type. His Chimera attribute is dodge, so his iconic weapon 2 node colors for PVE and PVP can all be green or a 4-4 mix of green and yellow. The purpose is to keep Freyr alive as long as possible so his Race of Gold passive buff can stay in effect. Let's look at his iconic weapon skills. Iconic weapon 100 to 300 improves the rejuvenation status from his ultimate. With those, Freyr gets healed along with the targeted ally hero and improves the amount of healing. Iconic weapon 400 improves his auto attack damage, adding 6% of his max HP, which is where the Panacea divinity skill is useful. Iconic weapon 500 adds a 1.5 second stun to his Gold-Maned Boar for the main enemy target. Iconic weapon 600 improves magical damage heroes' attack and max HP for every 8% base HP lost, so this is why Yasakani and Air Runes are best for Freyr to keep repeating Gold-Maned Boar as quickly as possible for more self-healing. Freyr's seems average for general PvE campaign. I think he would really shine in boss battles such as Genie in Afrit Den and some Sinful Abyss battles where you need Freyr and magical damage heroes like Amaterasu or Nuwa. Freyr's main divinity is Ethereal, so he is best suited for Crusader Veta. Again, he can also help Amaterasu, other magical damage heroes, and Freyr deal more damage to bosses. Given his skill set, Freyr is also suited for PvP. I haven't seen many instances of his incorporation into Champions Arena teams, but he does seem to lean towards the Nuwa Prometheus team since that team often has more magical damage heroes. However, Freyr is brand new and unlike Arthur, his PvP status isn't clear-cut yet. I'll hold off on his PvP point until we see how he affects the meta. If he does, I'll add that point for next patch. To summarize, Freyr is the most offensive SSR Verdian support hero so far. His strengths are his ability to buff his team's magical damage heroes in the same way Freyr buffs her team's physical damage heroes, and a unique healing ability which turns damage into healing. His weaknesses are his poor divinity skill set and his inability to heal as effectively as the other 3 SSR Verdian support heroes. I will be updating my comprehensive individual tier list for patch 1.29 in a later video. Thanks for listening.